Hey guys, what's going on? I'm Ryan Fenners. Welcome back to the Fentertainment channel. On today's video, we're going to show you how we created our farmhouse style kitchen countertops, and we covered them with epoxy. So about 8 years ago, we painted our countertops, and it was getting to the point where we didn't like them painted like this any longer. We began to strip the countertops, and I'll place a link above where you can see exactly how I stripped the countertops and what products I used. Once we had all the countertops stripped, that's when we knew we wanted something different. So I began taking measurements of everything. We went to the hardware store and I got lumber. We used 2x8 by 16 lengths in order to get majority of our wood and to keep costs down. Once we had all our wood at the house, I went ahead and started cutting off the lengths with my circular saw. Once I had all of my lengths cut, I went ahead and ran it and ripped all the 2x8s on the table saw. I ripped a 1/2 inch per side to get it down from a 7 1/4 to a 6 1/4 width. To join all the 2x8s together, I use Craig's K4 system. It makes it super easy and super strong to join the 2x8 right here. I'll place a link to all the tools I use in the description below, how you can check it out. Here I'm taking my router and sliding it across the front edge of each of the countertops to give it a nice rolled edge. After I had all of my countertops built the way I wanted to, I took these propane bottles and gave the wood a good burnt accent. Then I went ahead and stained the countertops. I didn't show staining process. Once I had it stained and burnt, I went ahead and test fitted all the countertops. So to achieve where the sink went in the new countertop, I placed the old countertop on top of it and traced it out, and then I cut it out with my jigsaw. After I had the countertops the way I wanted them, I took a 1x4 board, I burned it, and I stained it also. Then I applied liquid nails to the back of it. This right here is going to go across the back portion of the upper countertop. Once I put it in place, the liquid nails will hold it in place, but in order to get the liquid nails to stick, I used my pneumatic nailer. I drove 1.5 inch nails into the wood. So to hold the new countertops in place, I actually just drove some screws from underneath the kitchen counters into the new countertops on some of these 1x4 cross braces. So this next shot here is actually underneath the sink where the sink mounts would usually go. The old laminate countertops was only 3/4 of an inch thick, and since these are 1.5 inches thick, I had to then take a rabbiting bit, put it back on my router, and make a little bit more mess in the kitchen. But I had to route around the sink opening in order to make the sink mounts fit where it would clamp between the wood and the sink together. These are what the sink clamps look like. The one below the top one is actually a factory one, and the one at the top is actually one that I have cut. I had to cut them all about 1/2 inch off the edge in order to fit. Next, I went ahead and taped off the sink and underneath the countertop so the epoxy wouldn't drip down below. So here I am using the Pro Marine epoxy. I mixed 1:1. Part A is the epoxy, part B is the hardener, and I used 2 red Solo cups, marked them on the inside, made sure I had enough in both cups, mixed them together before I started applying to the countertop. Now once I had the epoxy mixed together, and right before I applied it, I made sure to give the countertops a good wipe down to make sure there wasn't no sawdust, no lint, anything that could have gotten on the countertops before we started applying. This right here shown is after the first coat. The first coat was very thin. We wanted to apply it in order to make sure to seal the countertop, and we waited 24 hours before applying the next 2 coats. Now I didn't show any of the applying of the epoxy because both my wife and I were epoxying countertops at the same time. The first coat, we used foam brushes in order to move the epoxy over the countertop. We waited 24 hours. Once that was cured, we went ahead and applied our second coat to the countertop. Now, we didn't use a foam brush for the second coat. We actually used just a spreader to move the epoxy around. As you can see on this box here, the epoxy gives the wood a deep shine, and you can see the box in the reflection just fine. Not sure what this is on the countertop here, but cleanup is a breeze. I just took some Windex, sprayed it on top of the countertop, and wiped it down, and it's so much easier to clean it like this rather than have wood to clean and have to clean out the cracks and everything. This makes cleanup very simple. Alright guys, I'm Ryan Fenners, and you've been watching the Fentertainment channel. If you've liked this video, go ahead and drop a thumbs up on this right here. Also hit subscribe if you haven't subscribed yet to the Fentertainment channel. Check out these other great videos, and until next time guys, we'll see you later.